today. Wow, I just learned so much about retirement. I should start thinking about that. So thanks for that presentation. And what a wonderful conference this has been so far. Thanks to the LIBRA team. And one of the biggest reasons I wanted to come back was this community you guys have built is incredible. And you all are just so kind. And I love all the connections between all of you. So thanks for having me. I do want to recognize some of the bravest, toughest people in the room that I think got overlooked yesterday. I know many of you played golf in the cold, but there were a few of us that went on a boat. And I'd like you to raise your hand if you were on that boat, because not only were we in the freezing cold, we were getting splashed by water in our face. And you know what? We all had smiles and we made it through. So they're very, very tough people. To recognize them. Well, how many of you have heard the phrase, AI is about to change everything? Show of hands, yeah. And keep your hand up if that's true. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm here. I am going to show you things that you could use on Monday. I'm not here to impress you with jargon and what AI might be someday. Today I'm going to show you things that you can use the next time you're in your office. And if we haven't met before, my name's Robyn Anderson. My nickname is Jam, and that's a whole longer story. But I've spent the last 15 years in AI, or in marketing agencies. And I owned my own e-commerce agency for 6 years. We were building websites, doing video, digital marketing. And in 2023, I was actually about to start a new venture, and I had everything ready to go, and then ChatGPT came out. And actually, if you look at ChatGPT in 2023, it's not impressive at all now. But back then, I saw that it was about to change everything, at least everything I've ever done. Everything from building websites to writing scripts for videos to sales, marketing, to interacting with my friends and family. I actually started out, my first presentation on AI was how you could use it for your kids. It really is everywhere. And now I'm the CEO of Jam AI. We're an AI agency. Over the last 2 years, the growth has been wild because we're growing a company on a technology that seems to change quite a bit. So the best part is I get to focus on people. So I have amazing AI experts and trainers, system engineers that I work with, and it's been a wild ride. But one of my favorite things to do is come and talk to groups like you and educate teams. So again, today we're gonna learn some real stuff that you can use. By a show of hands, how many of you are currently using AI every day in some way? Ooh. All right. And how many of you are using Copilot? Okay. ChatGPT? Okay. Claude? Gemini? Manus? Well, that's pretty much exactly what I expected. So we're going to go over a lot today, and I have only 45 minutes. I wish I had 3 hours. So I'm going to do my best to show you some stuff that I think you'll really like and can apply. I want to start by just talking about a story. In 1903, a farmer's out there doing his thing. He's been a farmer his whole life. His dad, his grandpa, his great-grandfather, they were all farmers. One day, a guy comes to his farm and brings in a tractor. And he's like, it's cool and all, but that tractor is going to need fuel. It's going to need parts. I'm no mechanic. I'm a farmer, so I'm going to pass. So he passed on the tractor, and we all know what happened. Farmers who adopted the tractor, they were able to scale their farms, and they ended up purchasing those farms where the farmers did not buy the tractor. And the tractor, it never replaced the farmer, but it did replace the farmer who refused to use one. Hang on to that, I have one more story. 1847, a doctor named Ignaz Semmelweis, he found out that it was very strange. Doctors were having a maternal mortality rate of 18%, whereas some of the midwives were at 2%. When he went and actually studied, he saw that the doctors were going from surgery to surgery, sometimes from autopsy to helping deliver babies without washing their hands. He told them about his research. They not only didn't believe him, they mocked him, and they put him in an insane asylum. Things were wild back then. He ended up dying there, and then 20 years later, we all know the germ theory was proved. And everyone now knows you have to wash your hands, and millions of lives were saved. So sometimes the data is there, but people are too proud to change the way that they have been doing things, even though they can see the scientific evidence that the new way might be better. It all comes down to dealing with change, trying something new. So some of those excuses, it's too complicated, I'm no mechanic, it's too technical for me, I'm too old to learn something new. I've heard all of those excuses and more over the past couple years, and I've heard them from some people in this industry. So as you can see, it's kind of the same story. It's a different century, but it's the same type of fear, and it's all around change. So I'm asking you, just don't be afraid of change. And if you think you're too old, or if you think you're not technical enough to try some of the things I'm showing you today, if you can have a conversation with somebody and ask them to do something, you can now use pretty much all types of AI, even the agents. So, guys, the past 5 years have been wild, I know. But AI especially, it is not just creeping into our lives. It's literally everywhere. It's in everything. And we went from 2022, 2023 to have these amazing chatbots, right, with ChatGPT, and Bard was Gemini at the time. Then we went to multimodal and generative AI, where it was all of a sudden creating images and pictures, and it could do a little bit more for us. It could access the web. And in 2025 and now, we are in the agentic era of AI. How many of you in this room have used an AI agent? Yeah, look at you, that's great. I love that. So we're in this agentic era where it's not a chat, it's not a strategy. The AI is executing work for us. It's actually completing the task. And oftentimes, it's completing the task without us asking, because it's just scheduled to do so. I've had the chance to talk to a lot of you over the past couple days, and I may have said, hey, are you using AI, and how are you using it? It's my favorite question. Some of you are actually using AI agents, building websites, you're doing it, it's awesome. Some of you have not started at all, and that's fine. But I'd say the majority of the people I've talked to here are using it to kind of rewrite emails or a job description. And if that's all you're using AI for right now, this is a good place for you to be today. So you're leaving a lot on the table. AI can now simultaneously research hundreds of resources, bring the information back, present it to you in any way you ask it to, a graph, a podcast, a video. You have to understand how you like to learn, and then teach your AI that, and it's going to open so many doors. It's also doing full-on operations now. Some of these AI tools can sit right on your desktop and do the work for you. And then the workflows, the tasks. I'm going to show you some of these today, but this is where you can set something up, whether it's data research, scraping the web for something, or something simple like creating a weekly email. So it can just be set, and it will get to work even while you sleep. And in this room specifically, you all have successful careers. You all have so much experience. And that's what makes AI so exciting in this room, because we need you to steer the ship. You need to be the captain. And AI is even more powerful in the hands of experts like you. Once you realize the type of things that you can do with AI, it's going to open so many doors. My whole goal is to have people save 30 minutes a day using AI. That's the first thing that I try to get people to do. So here's some just examples of things you could do. And if you come to my session later, I'm going to show you a cool tool that will help you kind of do all of this stuff. So I know a lot of you in this room, you raised your hand, you're probably using 3 or 4 AI agents before your first cup of coffee goes cold. And for those of you who haven't started yet, don't feel like you're behind. You're actually not. There's a ton of people just starting, just jumping in right now. And it's actually for the best, because the past 4 years have been kind of a mess. And now you can jump in and use these specific tools. You don't need 25 subscriptions to AI tools now. They're kind of all in one place. All right, so here's our 5-step plan for today. And we're going to spend most of our time in step 1 and 2. And then we'll go through kind of these other 3 steps. But the first step is probably the most important. So I already asked you all which LLM you use, which LLM stands for large language model. So these are the main 3. These are the most popular 3 AI LLMs outside of Copilot. And the reason I chose these is because they all are a little bit different with how you interact with them. However, they all have really similar capabilities. So even in September, when I came to Minnesota and talked to you, we kind of talked through like the AI stack and how I use Claude for this and Chat for this. And now I'm the only one in this room that should have pro subscriptions to all of these, because I have to train on all of them. But what I'm asking you is actually just pick one of these and go deep on it, commit to it, because these LLMs, they get to know you, they get to understand you, and the more you work with it, the better response you'll get. I actually just did something really cool. How many of you in this room have done some sort of personality profile, like Strength Finders or Emergenetics, or, yeah, I see quite a few of you. I actually was able to upload my PDF of my personality profile to Claude the other day. And all I said was I uploaded it and I said, hey, I think you should know this about me. And it came back and it said, oh, thanks, Jam. This makes so much sense. And it even said, I'm going to change my response style based on your blah, blah, blah. It went through all my different how I communicate, how I learn. And now when I ask it questions, it'll sometimes apply that to the answer, which I think is pretty cool. So I'm going to go through each one. Let's see, I'm going to try to play these videos and kind of speak over them. So I know a lot of you are using ChatGPT, and I wanted to show this because this is one of the newest features in all the LLMs. It's called Skills. Have any of you used Skills yet? Okay, one of you. So Skills are amazing, and they're in all the tools. I wanted to show it in ChatGPT because I know it's where most of you work. But basically, it's a repeatable process that you could train your AI to do. So Skills are something that people are putting into their systems. So in this exact one, it's saying, hey, when I upload meeting notes, or it could even be a transcript from a Zoom meeting, here's how I want you to digest those notes and give them to me. And then the really cool part is if you're a part of a team, and you don't even have to have a team account, you could share the skill with each other. So that's something that I want all of you to check out who are using ChatGPT. Other cool things in ChatGPT are the custom GPTs. Is anyone using those? That's where you can basically create a separate instance of ChatGPT and train it on one thing. And you could upload knowledge base, so information about what it's supposed to do. For instance, I have one that's all about webinars. And so it's trained on best practices of webinars from one of Amy Porterfield, who I look up to for her webinar skills. But then it's also trained on my brand, my voice. And so I can just go in there and say, hey, I would like a webinar about Claude. Could you please make one for me? Speaking of Claude, Claude has really become your coworker. Claude has so many unique abilities, and there's also 3 ways to use it. So there's Claude on the web. You can just go to claude.ai and use it there. But you can also use Claude on your desktop. So you can give it access to your computer. It works inside files. And then you can also do Claude Code and Claude on your Chrome browser. In this example, you may notice some of the prompts are just like, hey, I need to do this thing, will you help? The prompting idea of these big structured long prompts, it's kind of going out the window. It's really more conversational now, especially the more it gets to know you. So in this example, it's creating a full-on funnel that this guy's gonna show his boss. It put it into his project management software, and it even sent an email or a Slack message to his boss via Slack. It's pretty interesting. And then I wanted to show this one because it's so amazing when you get to understand the capabilities of, oh my gosh, it could actually do work for me. So this is an example of Claude as a browser extension. So if you're working in any sort of tool, so your CRM, your marketing software, a Word document, you could click on Claude and have it work inside of that platform. So in this example, it's building stuff, and then the guy's team comes back and puts a bunch of edits in. We've all done this before, right? Editing a PowerPoint, somebody gave you too many edits, it's kind of annoying. Well, now you can just say, hey, can you go update my slides based on all these comments and resolve them for me? So you can go do that and then go to the gym, take your dogs on a walk. A lot of time saved when you understand how to work with Claude. The next one I'm going to show you is Google Gemini. And Google's interesting because it really has gone all out to be this AI studio. And so Google has Gemini, of course. I talked to one of you, and when I said, do you use AI? He says, yeah, because I Google. I was like, yeah, you're actually right. The results are now AI generated by Gemini. But if you get into it and understand Google AI Studio, you could use Gemini, which integrates with all of their other AI tools, from website development tools to video creation to image generation with Nano Banana. This is a little bit more advanced. Even though it's Google, their user interface has been a little bit more confusing, and their target market is also a little bit more confusing because they're trying to meet the general mass population who's just using Google, but they also have snuck in all of these really advanced tools, and they don't really have that much training on it, surprisingly. But it is a wonderful tool for those of you who may deal with marketing. So I'll show you some of the things that you can do inside Gemini. Okay, so those are kind of an overview of those LLMs. Is anyone going to go change the one they're using at this point? Sticking with what you know? Good. I went from a ChatGPT person to a Claude person over the past few months, and it's been interesting. But once you have your LLM, that's a great place to start. The next place to be would just understand these other AI content creation tools. How many of you have seen an ad and you're left wondering if it was AI? There's a lot of those now where they're so good that we're not actually sure if what we just saw was AI. I recently have done a few projects where I'm building new brands. That's one of my favorite things to do, is build a new brand, bring it online, and market that brand. And I've done this for 15 years, and the process doing it now is so different. So I recently created a brand, and we're talking about video. And before, when we were talking about video, we would come up with ideas and kind of write out the ideas, and we'd go to stock photos and try to find a stock photo that would match the idea that we had as an agency, right? Well, now we can make that exact image in our heads. I had this idea, this brand that we're working with, it's got this bright green type, is that an alarm going on? We've got a bright green palette. So I was envisioning this in my head, and literally this was the exact image in my head. I was like, I want to see a woman in her late 30s. I want her standing in front of a big green, some sort of phone booth is what I started with, but it wasn't big enough. And we went on, and I was like, actually, this is what I want. I want it at a park. I want her to interview people to see if they have life insurance. And so this is kind of where I ended up. And then I took it one step further, and I was able to actually create a little video with it. So I want to show you that now.
I got approved for $5 million of life insurance in just 18 minutes. Now if something happens, my kids won't need to GoFundMe.
That for some reason played very quickly. But it's just incredible from bringing your ideas that are in your head, especially from a creative standpoint, to real life, to actually bring it to the client. I have a friend who's a investor, and he works with a lot of different tech companies and startups, and he said he doesn't even take the meeting unless he has a full working prototype to look at, because we're way beyond showing people PowerPoints at this point. It's all about seeing the real thing, because it's so easy to do. How many of you have made an avatar of yourself before? Well, I knew you would. So this is a tool called Hey Gen, and you can actually make an avatar of yourself. You could also create avatars using all of their public avatars. So if you're not interested in putting your own face out there, honestly, I don't know if I would if I wasn't in the space where I kind of have to. So you could use any sort of the professional UGC type avatars. But in this example, all I did was I uploaded the avatar I wanted to use. Her name is Rue Jam. And then I put in a style. So it's the art of doing like YouTube type videos. And you can see all I did was I said, create a 3-minute video introducing Claude AI to non-technical people. Talk about what Claude can do and give examples of skills. So it not only made the video of me, but it actually created an entire edit also, so you can see down here. Let's see if this works. This one was giving us trouble earlier.
Claude isn't just a chatbot anymore. It's a proactive partner designed to think, reason, and act alongside you. It doesn't just respond, it pauses to reason through your most complex problems. With Claude Cowork, the AI lives on your computer. It can read your folders, edit files, and organize your digital life. It handles the tedious labor, sorting downloads, cleaning data, and finding that one needle in your digital haystack. We call it vibe working. You describe the end goal in plain English, and Claude handles the execution. Ask it to find out your coffee shop in your notes and put them in the report. It just happens.
The B-roll is amazing.
Entire library of documents at once. It analyzes hundreds of contracts or reports simultaneously, connecting dots you didn't even know were there. When Claude builds something, a report, a mock-up, or a project plan, it appears in a live window for you to edit. See what it's building in real time, ask for changes, and watch it adapt instantly. No coding required. Claude doesn't just rush.
All right, we could end it there. So that's playing at 2 times speed for some reason also, but it sounds just like me if I slow it down. I always say the avatar looks like my evil twin because it looks enough like me, but it's not exact. So all of my colleagues, they'll be like, oh, I saw your evil twin on TikTok today. I'm like, yeah, sorry. But these are really amazing, especially if you have training to do on a new product or if you need translation. The HeyGen tool goes to 83 different languages. And it's really wild to make yourself speak another language as well, because it it moves your mouth perfectly to make it look like you're speaking Mandarin or whatever it is that you have to do. How many of you have used Nano Banana? So Nano Banana is the image generation tool inside Gemini. So if you just go to Google Gemini, you could go there and click on Create Image. And what I love for this is, obviously I have a marketing background, but all of you have to do marketing at some point too. So we all have our demographics, right? Our ideal client profile. And in marketing, it's super important to build landing pages to speak to that ideal client profile. So you can now change the look and feel of your website so easily with Nano Banana. So in this example, I'm going to try to connect with women in their 30s. And so here's what my new page would look like. So you can see here, this is Evoro Life with an influencer, and she's not only looking great, but she's wearing an outfit that matches our brand. She's holding a pamphlet that looks just like the brand. Like, this is really amazing. And for those of you who have done anything like this, it's so many hours saved. The other cool part is you can keep character consistency. So if I were to ask to do another page or another background with the same character, I could go ahead and do that. I just want to do a quick check-in on the room. Are we okay with this sound and everything? Okay, just want to make sure. Keep us safe. Okay, so that was step one. I promised step one and step two are the longest, and then we'll get there. The thing that I love to do and in my consulting is I find out where you should use AI, because everyone in this room has a unique job, right? If you were to say, here's what I do every day, everyone in this room works differently. Some of you may have the same title at the same company, but your day looks very different. So one thing that is kind of tedious but very helpful is to take 2 days and put sticky notes or just a pad of paper next to you and set an alarm for every 30 minutes. And for 2 working days, every 30 minutes, just write down what you were doing when that alarm goes off. Because what that gives us is data about how you're spending time in your day. You may find that you're spending 3 or 4 hours reading through different illustrations, trying to dissect information. You may find that most of your time is spent responding to emails. You may find that you're spending way too much time scrolling and not working. So that's something AI can't really solve, but at least you'll know. So figuring out where to use AI is the most important part. The other thing that I love in consulting is once you start using these tools and understanding them, you get so creative because you'll say, hey, oh, I just did this the other day and I can apply it to this presentation that I'm building. In fact, I shared this with some of you, but I'm working with a biopharma company and we got on the call and they said they wanted us to do the training on fashion and shopping because that's what they're passionate about. They all agreed that's what they wanted to learn. And then how they learn the AI skills to do those things, they'll know how to apply in their business. So it'll give you some creativity. I'm going to show you some fun ways to use AI. This one can be a little creepy, but fun. So have any of you created your dream advisory board yet? Okay, this is so fun. I want you all to do it. This is your first task. So what you can do is anyone who's a published author or a fictional character or celebrity or just somebody you look up to who has published content online, you could actually talk to them. And here's how. You can create a round table, your dream advisory board, and you could tell Claude or ChatGPT or Copilot, hey, I want to run some of these situations that I have through Alex Hormozy, through Brene Brown, through Joan London, and you can get real responses or semi-real responses. So all the responses you would get are based off of their information that's on the internet in the world. I'm going to show you an example of that, but another use case that's creepy but cool is you could also create your coworkers. So if you have Zoom calls with specific coworkers, you could take the transcript and you could train your AI on that person. And that way, if you have a scary boss or somebody that you have a hard time talking to, you can create an AI version of that person and present your ideas, present your opportunities. You could negotiate with them and get some sort of practice in before you go do the real thing. I talked to a few of you who are doing this for sales training as well. So you could create your ideal client profile, and you could create that profile, but then make that one grumpy, or make one super excited, or make one, all the different things that we run into on our sales calls. You could plan it with objections. Oh, it's over. That's great. Thanks for dealing with that sound, everyone. You could train it on common objections, and then you'll be able to practice those without having to do the real thing and kind of stumbling through it. Okay, so I'm going to show you a real example of a round table discussion that I did in Claude. So I made a dream advisory board. So it's Alex Hormozi, Gary Vee, Brene Brown, and Amy Porterfield. And all I did was I said, call in my round table. And then it says, all right, Jam, what's your question? And then I said, hey, I'm thinking of doing some meta ads. What do you all think? And I didn't have to say much more than that because Claude knows so much about me. So it went on and it went through each person's response, which I'll show you here, because I was just shocked at the tone and the style from each of them. So are any of you Alex Hormozi fans or know who he is? You guys should follow him, he's great. He has a podcast and he's all about sales, growing your business. He's like no BS kind of guy. But all of these responses sounded exactly like these people. So he's all worried about, have I figured out if I have a product worth scaling? And he talks about that all the time. Brene Brown, it's so her. She's like, oh, what's driving this decision? Are you okay? Like, wants to talk about, me as a person, and is this the right move, and where is this coming from? Gary Vee, if you don't follow him, he's a great futurist, but he's also all about organic content and the power of organic. So of course, he's kind of telling me not to do it. He's saying, you just need to do more organic. You need to post more for free. Do more, do the max. And then you could do ads later. And Amy Porterfield, I don't know if you guys know who she is, but she's all about systems and scaling and getting everything right before you go and scale your business, which means spend ad money, right? So she came in and said, hey, are your systems set up? Because before you scale, I want to make sure you have everything in place. So I thought that was very fun, and I'd like you all to make your dream advisory board tonight and report back. How many of you find yourself driving in the car and you get lots of good ideas? Or anxiety, because you have so much to do. You don't have time for good ideas. Either way, this is another hack. So if you get the app on your phone for chat or Copilot or Claude, you can just turn that on, and I always say start yapping. Just start saying, hey, this is what's on my mind. These are all the things I have to do by next Monday. I'm going to drop something on the floor if I don't get this out. And just yap. Just talk like you're talking to an assistant who can help you. And then at the end of that yap, ask it to create a diagram or visual of how you can accomplish the tasks you just told it. I really like doing that. I'm a very visual person, and this one thing has helped so many people just kind of get there. We all have a lot on our plates. It could even be personal stuff, but you just want to get it out and organize your thoughts. and this is a great way to do that. I talked to a lot of you who said, you know, I'm great with numbers, I'm good at my job, I close deals, but I suck at design. And so this is something that has been amazing. So I talked about skills in the beginning with ChatGPT. Well, a lot of you, everyone here, could create a skill that is trained on your brand guidelines and your brand standards. So therefore, everything you create, a proposal, presentation, an infographic, it will be based on your exact brand every single time. So it's just like the designer you used to hire. I'm actually working with a couple of you in this industry on this exact thing for PowerPoints, which I think I have an example in here in a bit. The other cool thing is when you have it on your computer, it can actually organize your desktop. I get a super messy desktop because I'm always clipping things and saving things. And it will not only organize it, but rename it and then organize it by file type. These are just little things that make your life easier. This one's great. How many of you are in charge of business development or prospecting, making calls? Or if you have a team that does it, even more importantly. So prospecting with AI has completely changed the game. You can use multiple different research tools. In this example, I'm using Manus. Oops, I'm too fast. So I had it research wealth management firms in Naples. And basically, I just said, I want to reach out to different wealth management firms in Naples. I need their contact information, and I want to know about their business. And then I want you to create an email for each person at that company that I should reach out to, and I want you to customize that message based on what I do and based on their needs. So it went ahead and created this, and it also created a document with each and every person inside of it. Manus, we don't have enough time, but Manus is another LLM, but it's built on top of Claude, so it uses Claude, but it has really intense research capabilities, and it's something that I think everyone should check out. It was bought by Meta in December, so it's growing pretty quickly. But prospecting is so much easier now, and I think it's important to still add your own flair, but it really gets you in front of people and gets you the messaging that you need. You don't need to research their website or what they do, because it does that for you. The other thing in marketing is we're always trying to stay ahead of what's going to be relevant, what's hot, what's coming up next. And this is great too, and you can set it as a task to run every week. So in this one, we're going to scrape the web for specific concepts on Reddit. So I don't know if any of you are Reddit users, but there's subreddits. So there's subreddits about retirement. There's subreddits about just becoming more financially stable. There's so many subreddits around things in your industry. And all you would do is just go ask it to scrape the web and read those subreddits for you. And then every Monday, put together a report on the trending topics for that week. Reddit's one of the best places to get a pulse on real people and what they're talking about. So that's why I like to use that. You could scrape anything. You could scrape TikTok, you could scrape Instagram. I just choose this for relevant information. So this is another little hack. Oh, I have to hit pause. There we go. Okay, I know I just gave you quite a few things, and I want to take it down a notch and just say, 30,000 foot. Oh no, it's back. Oh, it was just a tester. That's a whole different thing. Okay, anyways, an AI-powered morning, just very high level. You could triage your inbox. You could get drafts written in about 10 minutes, which used to take you 45 minutes. You could write your proposal with AI. Believe me, I've written a lot of proposals in my life, and this has taken hours and hours away from the dreaded proposal. And then the research and summary of information, the amount of information that I can learn now in a day is wild, and I don't have to read it either. In my session later, I'm going to show you how to use a tool called Notebook LM that will help you research and create information about what you research in a podcast, a video, an infographic. There's so many ways to digest the information that AI is getting for us. All right, step 3 is changing your habits. All you have to do is 15 minutes a day. That's it. If you could put it on your calendar, 15 minutes a day will change your life. It'll change the way you work, and all you have to do is just put it on your calendar. Maybe you just make it a habit in the morning with your coffee, or the last thing you do before you close your laptop. Take 15 minutes. And also write down what you're learning. So whether you have a little journal or a prompt library, you're going to forget what you did because you're a human. And also there's just so much coming at us. One of the things a client said to me last year was, I've built so many agents and GPTs, but I don't know where they are and I forgot what they do. I was like, oh, that's so human of you. So we have to keep track and keep that organized. And then I have a system called the JAM method. So it's just start, like stop overthinking it, do the free trial and quit, like just try something. People are like, oh, I'm not ready to use it, or I don't have a good use case. Just go to Kling and make a video. Why not? Make it of something fun. Automate, so the tasks that we talked about, just automate one thing. If you can automate one thing, it's a win. And then monetize. A big part of our business is now teaching our clients how to build agents that they can either upsell to their clients or to just save time, because we all know time is money. Speaking of, I realize I'm almost out of time, so I'm gonna go fast. We talked about agents and skills. So agents are skills, skills are agents, they're a type. And here's a few types that are pretty popular right now. So we kind of talked through this already. I want to show you the new org chart. So this is kind of the new way to work. And 5 years from now, I guarantee we're all going to be doing this. We're going to be managing people who are managing agents. And so don't worry, there's still a human at the top, but every single one of you is going to have some sort of AI doing work for you. And you also need to know how your employees are building that AI and what they're managing, and help them to set that up. This is a chatbot that can actually see you. So while you talk to it, this is the future of customer service. While you talk to it, it can see you. In this video, I say, hey, do you like my mug? My mug says, like, I love you so much, from Austin, Texas. And he goes, oh, I love your mug. I love you so much. And I said, oh, this is awkward for 8 a.m. But it's a good video. But you can't watch it because we don't have time. Oh, and he followed up on text quite a bit. He doesn't, his social graces are pretty good, although he doesn't understand when a woman ices you, you got to quit at some point, because he's just going and going. So, okay, I want to show you this vibe coding. I wanted to pick on LIBRA, since LIBRA is our common friend. In LIBRA, your website's beautiful. I just wanted to see what this AI tool would do. So I took the LIBRA URL and I put it into Manus, and I said, hey, I want you to redesign and launch the LIBRA website with like a 2026 feel. I want you to introduce some animation, keep the vibe the same. So I'm gonna kind of scroll to the end. So it ended up creating this website. Vibe coding is where you literally just speak to the AI and then it builds things for you. So you can see here, it didn't bring in their images because I didn't ask it to, but it did pull in some really great animation. So I thought it was a pretty good first pass for literally a one-line prompt. And I've built an entire business of vibe coding. So this is called Sit Stay Studio. You can upload a picture of your dog and then it changes that dog into all these different styles. and then people can buy the prints. So I made this entire website business in 4 hours. So one of the most important things that you could do right now is have an idea with AI. Like, we have all the tools, there's everything you need. If you have the idea, you can make it. I want to just wrap up by just letting you know how we could work together. So I have a 30 days to AI consulting thing. So I have my email right there, but I have 4 people on my team, and we do either one-on-one, we'll meet with your entire team, but it's been a really great process. We do it in person and also virtually. And then you guys have the cards on your table, you may see. We have a training platform, and basically this is very much a do-it-yourself portal. So you log in and there's daily training, both beginner and intermediate, where you can just kind of learn about these different tools. And if you're doing that 15 minutes a day, this is a great place to go. But my main thing is called Club Jam. I have a community of professionals, and I bring in AI experts from around the world 3 to 4 times a week. We record all of our training and put it in. But this is kind of my main training platform. And I just wanted to show one more video here.
Just couldn't wrap my head around the technology. And what I've accomplished since I've joined Jam AI has been phenomenal.
On this crazy, I know nothing about coding, and this has changed my life. Being a part of Robyn's community has completely changed my life.
And I'm doing it way faster. So what
I won't make you watch them all, but I just wanted to show you that there's real people in here, and everybody has that fear of, am I the right person to be using AI, and how can I use it? And I really believe that training people on AI is their right, and there's so much anxiety that I think AI training is a mental health benefit. And it's really important to make sure that people don't feel like they're going to be replaced, fired, or replaced by some sort of agent. So the tractor is here, and it's ready for you to take it on a drive. Thank you so much for having me today.